Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ginger Show. As you all know, I am the CEO of your medical liaison and your marketing liaison, where I help small businesses grow their practices and their businesses. And today I have somebody that helps all kinds of businesses, Michelle Balan, who is a operations expert. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Ginger.
And just so everybody knows, just to be totally transparent, I brought Michelle on a couple of years ago to help me with my own business. And I am happy to say that she has tremendously helped my business, and I still have her on retainer because I can't live without her. So I wanted to share her with the world. Of course, please leave room for me. But anyway, I'm very excited to have Michelle on the show today to tell you guys how she can help you with your business. All right, so a little bit about Michelle. So Michelle Balan is a fractional COO. If you don't know what that means, it means that she is a consultant, so a chief operations officer, but on a consulting basis. So she helps lots of businesses. She's an operations expert with over 25 years of experience in office administration, operations, and human resource management. She excels in streamlining operations, optimizing processes, and increasing revenue while improving employee retention, reducing turnover. Michelle's comprehensive operations support, coaching, and employee management solutions have helped numerous small businesses thrive. Beyond her career, Michelle is an alumni of the Leadership Camp Anytown and a dedicated philanthropist volunteering with various Las Vegas organizations. She founded Community Heal, a program aimed at preventing sex trafficking through education, advocacy, and survivor support. Her signature Power Up workshops educate youth, parents, and community leaders on preventing sex trafficking. Believing in the power of a positive work environment, Michelle's compassionate approach empowers small business owners and employees unlock their potential and foster lasting success. Her dedication to empowerment is at the heart of all her endeavors. And then I would also add, she's also a mom of 5. So she is a very busy lady. So we're very excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Ginger. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so you've helped me so much, and I know you can help a lot of other businesses. So some of the questions I'm going to have for you today, is going to be relating to that. So let's talk about how have the years of experience you have in office administration, operations, and human resource management shape your approach to helping and empowering small businesses?
Well, through my extensive experience working in these different areas, I've worked with Fortune 100 companies to small businesses. And so I've been able to gain a deep understanding of what the challenges small businesses face and being able to bring some of that larger corporate America structure into the small businesses, I think helps a lot. And this includes providing employees or team members with the necessary tools and resources such as training, and that's going to help them to perform their roles effectively and contribute to the overall success of the business. Even though every business is different, I do focus on identifying operational inefficiencies, implementing standardizing processes, and then also leveraging technology to maximize the productivity. So by streamlining their operations, I'm able to help empower the small businesses and helps them to run more efficiently, smoother, and then achieve sustainable growth.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you did for me. I mean, you came in and you kind of looked at all of the operations. You saw where we could be more efficient. And I mean, we didn't even have SOPs, which I later learned stands for standard operating procedures. As a small business, a lot of us don't know these terms, Michelle, and we've never, we're small businesses. So most of the time we're running it ourselves. We're trying to do everything. And so what I liked was you kind of brought this corporate structure into my teeny tiny little business and really help to streamline and make things more efficient. So, and a lot of us small business owners, I guess, kind of shy away from corporate world or corporate structure, but there is a lot of positives and a lot of benefits that you bring to the table because of your corporate experience.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, I think, the biggest key is, we don't have to be corporate America or that large, but just having some of those structures in place definitely is helpful.
Yeah. So, what are some of the key elements of cultivating a positive work environment that encourages both employee satisfaction and business growth?
I would have to say definitely strong leadership that values open communication, transparency, mutual respect, and being able to recognize and value your team members as individuals. So that means treating your team members as humans, providing a supportive and collaborative atmosphere, and empowering them to contribute ideas and take ownership. And by doing these things, I think it creates that positive work environment because it's going to enhance the employee satisfaction. And when you have happy employees, they become more productive. And so their increased productivity is going to provide the ability to also attract top talent to your business because then people want to work for you because they hear all these good things, therefore contributing to the overall business growth.
Yes, and in my business, I'm a big believer in the individual, and also we always say mental health and family first. So I try to make it a very enjoyable place to work where people feel like they can be themselves. We're there to support them through difficult times. And I think a lot of small businesses are that way. I mean, we're able to be that way much more than corporate. But I know some of the things that you taught me, you touched on it for a second, was, bringing in top talent. So, I oftentimes would kind of try to hire people that, I liked and had some of the skills that I wanted, but they really didn't have everything. And, you would come back and you'd be like, are you sure this is the right person for the job? You say you want this, this, and this, but then you're looking at somebody that really doesn't bring those skills to the table. And so you kind of really have helped me. And the other thing too is that as a small business, we're always looking for ways to be careful with our spending. And so we tend to kind of try to be frugal, especially with the amount of team members and the price points that we bring them in at. And that was another thing that you taught me, is that you do not save any money by trying to cheap out and bring in somebody that is not going to be effective and that you're going to end up letting go. Because there is a lot of time and money spent on onboarding and turnover.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole recruitment piece is so important and crucial to the business because the amount of time you spend advertising, interviewing, and then training, right? If you are hiring the wrong person, then all that time and efforts and money is a waste. And then you end up back at back at square one, trying to find this right person. And so it really starts at the beginning of the employee or team member's life cycle and having a strong recruitment strategy in place.
Agreed. Yes. And you have seen me make those mistakes along the way. And sometimes you've actually, I felt really, really strongly about one candidate, even though she didn't apply for the job that I put her in. And you questioned me at the time, and I kind of was persistent in that I really want to hire this person. And, it ended up not being the right person, and it ended up costing me a lot of time and a lot of money. And you let me go through that. And even though you kind of warned me, because I needed that learning experience, I guess. And, so you've seen me go through that. So yes, that's definitely a very important thing for small businesses, is bringing in the right talent. Can you share some of the success stories, other than mine, of course, because I've already told everybody how great you are, of small businesses that have benefited from your expertise in streamlining operations and enhancing employee relations?
Absolutely. I've had the privilege of working with, of course, numerous small businesses and witnessing remarkable transformations. One notable success story involved a home improvement company that faced significant challenges, including high employee turnover and poor employee morale. And that's already an intensive job, very labor intensive physically. And so when I stepped into the role to help out, I conducted a comprehensive analysis, identified, some of the key areas of improvement, which of course it started with the recruitment strategy. So after revamping that and coming up with what would make sense for their company, I was able to help streamline that process, their hiring process, also their employee relations as far as policies, creating a handbook, how they dealt with any of the employee issues. Oh, and plus employee training. So, all of these efforts resulted into substantial cost savings, improved the customer satisfaction because now the employees were out on the job site, happy to be there, and using more positive language and you could just tell they were working more collectively as a team. And so it just provided a really motivated workforce that felt more empowered and valued. And so the successful outcome was evident that the company experienced, they had zero turnover with employees in the following year that I was working with them. And so that positive shift really shows the other people as well, like, again, this is a company I want to work for. They really value their employees, they empower us, they provide us training. And so that word of mouth or other people seeing, again, attracts additional top talent to that.
Yes, and it was just, again, going back to, all the things that you've helped me with, as far as just the team and team morale and, organization and all of these things. One of the things that we used to do, and I can say we don't do this anymore, but, every time we onboarded someone, it's just kind of like we onboarded them, and it was we were just doing the same thing over and over. And you were kind of like, why don't we put some standard operating procedures in place where we actually have like a training system so that everybody goes through the same system? And I was like, oh my gosh, that would make it so much more organized. And so, yeah, all of these things really do lead into higher employee morale and just feeling like they're going to work, because it is scary to work for, small businesses. We struggle, we have our ups and downs, and, a lot of people feel safer in the corporate environment where, it's a bigger company and they're not as at risk of losing their job. The more your small business is well run, the more people are going to feel comfortable joining your team. For sure.
Yeah, totally agree.
One of the things that you've helped me with and my team members is with kind of balancing, work and life and, time blocking, and kind of just learning to manage and balance it all. So my question for you, because I've always wondered, is how do you balance, your commitment to empowering small businesses with all your philanthropic work, particularly in the area of sex trafficking and supporting survivors, and raising 5 kids and running your business? I mean, I'd love to hear, how you're doing that.
Well, it's been a journey for sure. And a lot of, when you're an entrepreneur, what happens is you also, and they don't tell you this necessarily, but it's also a personal journey, right? And so being able to balance the two is very important, because if you're not well yourself, then how can you take care of other businesses? How can you take care of your children? And so it's really been a big focus lately to put myself first and understanding what self-care is. And it is hard because I have all these, distractions throughout my day. So any little time that I can get, I value it. But another part of it is focusing on being grateful. So as chaotic as things may be, and life does get very challenging, it's really remembering those small things, like, okay, even though all of this is happening, it might seem like almost the end of the world, like, what can I be grateful for? What am I grateful for? And it could be something as simple as that I'm able to work, right? I'm able to generate an income. Even better, that I'm able to work virtually, or I'm able, I woke up today. So just really being grateful about things gives that peace of mind. And so the chaos that I go through is very minimal in comparison to when I focus on what I'm grateful for. But putting yourself first is important. We hear a lot about it, and it's hard, especially when you come from a workaholic background. So it's a constant thing that I have to work on, but I have to also practice what I preach. So I do a lot of goal setting. I work with accountability partners, anything to help myself so that I know I can continue to help others.
Very cool. And, you and I actually met in the philanthropic world. And so we both love philanthropy, but it is definitely a challenge, especially, as small business owners, to balance that, giving of
Mhm.
yourself to philanthropic, organizations, or, for me, being on boards and things of that nature. So, with the sex trafficking stuff that you're doing, maybe you can just kind of give us like a little bit of insight into, because I know how much joy this work gives us. That's why we do it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
The only reward is the joy that we get in helping others. And, you can't even compare it to the financial rewards that you get from owning a business. So how are you putting that? How are you doing your philanthropic work on top of all of your other work?
Well, I've gone through a couple different seasons, and so really I realize that it will always be there. And so it's a matter of how much do I want to or can I put in and not feel guilty. I used to feel guilty because I wanted to help everybody, but I wasn't really helping the community by burning myself out, which I did do in volunteering. And so now I've learned to just do like my workshops I do every other week. So initially I was going to do them every week. Now I decided, okay, every other week. And if I need to take a break, I let them know, like, I'm on pause right now. So the biggest thing, whether it's volunteering or with work or family, is I think setting boundaries. And that was something I had to learn and that I'm still learning, but it's very important because, again, even if it's the community, I can't feel bad if I'm not 100%. So setting those healthy boundaries are definitely what I've been putting in place to be able to balance everything that I have going on.
Very cool. So I do have time for one more question. What advice would you give to small business owners looking to unlock their full potential and create lasting success through operational excellence and employee empowerment?
What advice do I have for business owners? I would say that we don't have to know everything. That's why we do outsource, like for our taxes, right? So the first thing would be outsource where you can. You have someone else that does your bookkeeping or your taxes. If you need an assistant to help you answer phones or do some of the general administrative work, those are some starting points. A lot of small business owners like to, because they started it, they put their blood, sweat, and tears in it, and it's completely understandable. They have some challenges when it comes to delegating and relinquishing control. And so that's usually one of the biggest things I see in the beginning is, they don't trust anybody. And again, that's totally understandable. But once you can learn to delegate and hire someone, and then also have these standard operating procedures in place, then you're able to train people the way that you want them to do the job. And then that gives you more time to focus on what you want to do, such as growing the business.
Yeah, and I can speak to that from my own experience. I started out doing everything myself for the first couple of years. I mean, and I mean everything, including, checking my own emails and answering my own phones and all of that stuff. And out in the field running around and doing the online stuff. And what I have learned through learning to delegate better is that I've actually been able to grow the company more. And it's scary because you gotta take risk. And,
Yeah.
that's what being an entrepreneur is. I mean, my experience of being an entrepreneur is being really able to handle risk and being able to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you start delegating, but it costs money to delegate. And so you have to balance that and understand that if you want to grow, you have to delegate, because if you can't delegate, then you can't grow. And that, I'd like to mention that that's okay too for some businesses. Some people don't want to delegate. They don't want to grow the business. They are
Mm-hmm.
quite happy running it themselves, doing all the work themselves, keeping all the profit themselves, and keeping it small. And I've seen and I know some very successful operations that are one man bands, and they're happy and they love it. And so I like to just point out that that's okay. Even I have 20 people on my team now, and Michelle and I have discussed this. I want to scale, but I want to scale to a point that is comfortable for me and that I'm comfortable managing and that is in my comfort zone, so that I'm not feeling like I'm a stressed out maniac trying to run a multi-million dollar business. I'm not interested in having a multi-million dollar business. I'm interested in scaling my business to a certain number. I'm interested in having a set target income for myself. So everyone's different, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I always like to ask at the end for some tips, and I'm sure you're going to give us some great ones. So in regards to, life, work, and wellness. So you give us a tip in regards to life.
I would say to embrace change, cultivate resilience, as growth often comes from life's challenges and unexpected opportunities.
So true. Okay, how about with work? You got a tip for work?
Prioritize clear communication and collaboration, foster an environment that encourages innovation and drives success.
All right. And then wellness. You mentioned we got to take care of ourselves first. So,
Yes, I would say nurture a balanced lifestyle by integrating regular physical activity, healthy nutrition, and mindful self care practices.
very good. Yes, all of those things are great. And, I know this sounds like a lot to everybody, but I will tell you, Michelle makes it really easy to integrate these things into your business, and helping you with hiring talent and all of those things. So, please follow her. Michelle, if you could tell people how to follow you, and also how to reach you if they're interested in, having you come in and do a consultation. I'm sure you do a free consult to see if it's a good fit.
Yes, I definitely do. You can reach me on my website at michellebalan.com. That's MICHELLEBALAN.com. Or you can follow me on Instagram, which is Michelle Balan _.
Excellent. So I just want to say again, it was my honor to have Michelle on the show today. I'm really trying to bring people on the show that are going to add value to you in your life, in your work, in your wellness. And I will tell you that if you need help in your work, Michelle is definitely somebody that can help any business, small, medium. I don't think you do the large stuff anymore, do you, Michelle?
Mhm. Not so much, no.
Yeah,
I need the ability to be creative
right.
and make changes.
Right. So if you're a small to medium sized business, reach out to Michelle. And thanks again for being on the show. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you so much, Ginger. I really appreciate the time and opportunity.
Thank you.